Hey, how's it going? So this week I said I would do a 1-2-3 race, Floyd Bennett Field. I did it with the 1-2-3s, and I did get a pack finish. That was my goal. I was happy to accomplish that. Yeah, there's the stats if you want to see it. I weighed in at 187 in the morning. And I was, yeah, the FTP is still very much 350. I don't know if that's going to go up or not. But yeah, this race was so much different. I felt there was so many times. Well, actually, I remember what this guy said last year. He was commenting about what the 1-2-3 field is like, and he said to me, well, he didn't say to me, he said to someone else, he said, this race, if you're not moving up, you're not moving back, or you're moving back. But I honestly didn't have that experience, but I did feel that if I didn't button up the gaps with wheels, I would have been off the back. Yeah, I ended up averaging like 220 watts, so not a whole lot. For Cat 1-2-3, it made me question if my power meter is actually accurate or not, because I looked at other people that appeared to have pack finished with me by comparing the looking at their Strava times. I'm assuming they hit the stop button at the end of the race. Notably, the difference between the 3-4 here, there were slowdowns and stuff like that. However, it didn't seem like when people were doing the corners that they were like slowing down because, I don't know why, lack of confidence turning. It seemed like people knew they could just turn. Also, in general, when there was a slowdown, people, I think I said one time slowing because I heard someone say something ahead of me. I thought they were saying slow. So I repeated that, and someone immediately yelled at me, coast, coast, coast. So yeah, that's a difference there. Probably for the best. But yeah, very smooth. One of these guys with these red shirts actually took the podium, first place. And they were one of the few riders I actually felt not so great riding next to. But as you can see, I'm very much in the pack here. So there's, like in the 3-4s, I'm normally riding in the last wheel. Here, I was towards the back. I'm not going to lie about that. I was towards the back, but I was not last wheel for very long. I did end up in several instances where I was last wheel, but I just didn't allow that to do here. So I see this little gap here. I'm like, I gotta button this up. I just gotta button this up. I don't care that these guys are stretching out. I'm just buttoning this up, but without taking too much wind. I don't need to pull out to the side. I can go and ride next to these guys. Like we could even touch hands side to side. It's fine. Whatever. It happens. But that never happened, luckily. But I wasn't afraid of that happening. But yeah, you can see people are very close. That's just part of it, These guys had the right idea to move up. And now I'm at the back. But these guys moving up, they created more of a drafting effect for me. Another thing I noted, that in the 3-4 fields, this final corner has like a really hard sprint. In the 1-2-3, there wasn't, and it was kind of weird. It's just like, okay, sure, but this was not a hard effort. It, like, in the 3-4, it's like stop and go, and here it's just like smooth sailing. So it's just a very, very different animal for sure. In terms of average speeds, the race was 1 mile per hour on average faster, and it also had 2 extra laps. So instead of 22, 23 miles, it was 27. So 2 extra laps. But I was surprised, like these laps were really fast. My fastest lap, the last one, I had a PR for, like I had a PR in Floyd. I've raced so many Floyds. I've done this race, I've done it like 30 times now. And I just don't have the skills and abilities to win races. I know how to drive my bike. I know how to have power. I've worked on FTP. My 350 FTP. I've been close to this. Like this is my highest number, but it's not the first time I've been high. It's like it goes up and then down, up and then down. It's like a sine wave every year. So I fully expect my, maybe I can get 5 more watts out of my legs, but then I'll get to the winter time and then I'll lose all that because I won't be doing big efforts. I'll probably just try to find a way to do zone 2 on the trainer for 5 hours like I dreamed. Maybe sign up for Zwift again. Who knows? Be humbled by a lot of dudes that have 4 watts per kilo, but they get on Reddit and they're like, oh, I have 4 watts per kilo, and I'm like, why aren't you racing with me in the 1-2-3 field? I did this race, so 225, 85 kilos, so that 2.5 watts per kilo to sit in on this race. This is a Cat 1-2-3 race. It's a flat one. I can't, if I want to do 1-2-3 in Central Park, for example. I've tried it. It's not fun with the hills. I just don't have the watts. But here it's all flat. 2.5 watts per kilo to sit in. So people have their 4 watts per kilo. I'm like, dude, just why are you wasting time? Just like show us what you got. You could be like pulling this field, or just save it for the last lap and just the last lap here, my time just to sit in, to stay in and get that pack finish and everyone sprinting. I'm just following the field sprint at the back, that lap I did 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So if you can like sit in at 2.5 watts per kilogram, and then in the last lap, pull off like a 5-minute effort, 4-minute effort with like 600 watts. If you could hold 600 watts for that, you won the 1-2-3 field. You're standing on top of the podium. And if you're like a 4 watts per kilogram, that shouldn't be a problem. I don't know. People say that, and then when it comes to actually, showing the money in the race time, it's like, I don't know. I looked at a lot of the power profiles of the other riders, and I don't know how much they weigh, but the watts were fairly close. Well, they weren't close. Some people were doing like 300 watts and some people were doing 200 watts. And, honestly, I would think that I'm like one of the heavier riders at 85. I mean, in general, being in this group was a here I'm not in too great of a position. Oh, I rode with this guy in Cat 6. That's cool. Yeah, I made up wheels on this turn because I guess I'm comfortable accelerating on the turn. That's just something I've been working on. In general, is just knowing what exactly my cornering clearance is, and just not just being aware of how much I can tilt my bike. And I do a lot of riding on the greenway, and that involves a lot of weaving and near misses and all this stuff. And it's just like, and there's towards the end of the greenway, as you approach the bridge, there's like constant chicanes, left, right. And when you're doing that at speed, that's some fun times. That's some, like you could set something up here with cones, or you can just have the real thing with real consequences and just do it and be like, oh, I'm not even thinking about it because I'm making the turns and my tires are not losing traction. It just stays on the road. Like I don't know. In general, I felt like I was in good position, but I can see here in this. Oh no, like I'm not at the back. So I was at the back, in the back half. And I'm still kind of at the back, but it is comforting to have people riding behind me, giving me a push, because one of the things I had a problem with in Cat 3-4 was just sitting back there. And not only sitting back there, but like being bored to tears, because just to ride behind here with these guys, even though it was not a whole lot of watts, it was still more watts than the 3-4 field. I needed my average power went up by 40 watts. So definitely, it basically went from averaging, for my power profile, went up from averaging zone 1 to zone 2. So definitely a leg up, which is good. And I felt so much better. Like one of the things that kind of sucks in general when you're riding and you're not trying to win. And honestly, it's just, there's so many people here. I knew I wasn't going to make anything happen as a Cat 3 who's never won anything. I took the experience upgrade to Cat 3 because I race so much that, yeah, if you get 40 pack finishes in a 2-year period, you can do that. That's really easy because I do something like 40 races a year, and I usually pack finish 2/3 of them. So that I just moved up. I took the upgrade. I was like, okay. I figured that most of the races are 3-4 anyway, so I could be a 3. But this being a 3 gave me this flexibility. I saw this gap here. I was like, these guys are stretched out. I don't care. I'm just going to button this up. I don't care. I'm just buttoning this up. Like this is not going to work. I'm not going to like if I slowed down and followed behind these guys, I would have been off the back. So this just wasn't even an option for me. So I thought I just got to button this up. And I guess as I was cornering, I saw I could slot in here, so that's what I was doing here. Now, I bought the GPS remote thing so I could get like speed data and stuff like that, but I forgot to bring it to the race. So next time, the next race I'm doing is the Dave Jordan Classic. That's a 3-4 race in Central Park. So I plan to record. I'm going to comment it on it, obviously. I don't know if my camera will last the whole time. We'll see. I might just be commenting on a small portion of it because the battery life of this camera it's good for crits and stuff like that. It's good for up to races for an hour and a half. Like for this race, this was yesterday, I was actually able to take footage of part of my commute home. Like I'm gonna play it after this. Like I want to play it because I'm just curious how it looks. Because it's like the commute to Floyd, especially if the commute to Floyd on bike is it's pretty sketchy, to say the least. Kind of stressful, and I was just following some other riders. I was following some guys that destroyed me in Cat 6, but they did the 3-4 field, and I just like, yeah, I did the 1-2-3 today, and I just sat in, and that was my goal, and I finished with everybody. They were like, that sounds hard, and I was like, you have no idea. Another cool thing about racing 1-2-3 here is that since I've been racing in the New York City area since 2016, I actually recognize a lot of the riders in this group. So that made me a lot more confident to riding in close proximity with these guys. Right here, yeah, I'm definitely at the back at this one. I'm wondering, I got a bunch of footage to review. How much in the back was I? Like here, this is bad news, so I gotta button that up. So that's what I do. Just gotta button that up. Doesn't matter. I don't get to coast that much. But I'm always like scanning down the road, so you know when to coast and when to push. That's a it's highly based on, you know, if I see the riders ahead, can I predict how much closer they're going to be. This sun really sucked, especially towards the end of the race. It was blinding. It was blinding. I was kind of like looking. I basically had to look at the wheel. It was like maybe last. At this point, it was okay, but there was a point in a race where I basically had to just look at wheels and hope for the best. You know, put my head down and look at wheels because I could not see straight. So yeah, if a crash happened, it would have absolutely sucked, and I wouldn't have been able to avoid it because, you know, the sun in the way. So that's just a thing. Okay, so people are still working on that corner there, and I'm just sort of like, sure. Sure, why not? Got another minute in this this video, and then I'm gonna switch it up to the next one. So yeah, I did Cat 6 today, and that was... I was so tired. But I still managed to PR off River Road. Because they're... I don't know, like... It's not even like the people that show up are people in this group. Like they're like 1, 2, 3s, you know. There are a few new people, but it's mostly like, it's not even Cat 6 anymore. Yeah, I had long sleeves on today, or yesterday. Learned my lesson from the previous week about the cold. I still started to shiver right before the race. What happened to that guy? He just fell off like nobody's business. Yeah, for me, I wasn't ever looking for opportunities to move up in the fields. I was just doing the... Hey, how's it going? I'm doing a live stream. Yeah, so I was just... my girlfriend called. Okay, so that was the guy that fell back. Yeah, this was so bumpy. This is so bumpy. Like, I'm glad the stabilization works, but yeah, you could... My handlebars rattling like that is because, like, each of these seams, and plus the race is faster, so you're just hitting everything so quickly. At the end of the race, my biceps, triceps, they were sore from absorbing all the shock. So it was just so tough on my arms. I guess that's the women's field that was being passed. I guess the other thing during this race, I never took a drink from my water bottle. Like, I felt like I probably should have, but I didn't. It's not... I guess... I mean, I guess at this point, like, I've been putting... For this race, I went back to putting sugar in my water bottles instead of the Gatorade mix. I just put that away for now. But yeah, put sugar in the water bottles. That's a big help. Oh my God, is that a big help? So I completed one water bottle, and I put in each water bottle I put 2/3 of a cup of sugar in the water bottle, and then I put like a packet of Crystal Light in there, so it wouldn't taste like maple syrup. It tastes like lemonade. So it was good, and so before the race, I had just ingested 100 grams of carbs, because 2/3 of a cup is 100 grams of sugar, and sugar has a 1-to-1 relationship with carbs. And it's probably the cheapest thing you can buy, especially if you have access to a Costco or a BJ's or something, any kind of big box store. I paid $10 for 10 pounds of sugar, organic sugar. So that's like, if I go on Amazon and shop for gels, one gel has maybe 18 grams of carbs, and it will cost like maybe $2-3. So if you need to have, if you want to do like 100 grams of carbs, that's little over 5 gels. So just 5 gels times $2, that's $10. There's more. So the sugar I bought, one cup of sugar ends in a pound. It's not a pound. It's not even close. It's so much more economical. Now the Crystal Light is kind of expensive. That's not ideal. And I want to find another way I can flavor the water to make it not taste like sugar water. I mean, the point of, and you want the water to taste good, because if the water tastes like plain water, you're probably not going to drink as much. You want it to taste good. You want it to have like a flavor that you will be encouraged to drink it. More likely to finish it that way. And I did drink the water after the race, and it actually made my commute back home faster. Instead of riding really slow, because I just blew my doors off trying to like racing with these guys and trying to stay on, and still ending up not in the best drafting terms, but it's okay. This is okay. This is actually pretty good. I have people behind me again, and that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good, but at the same token, I just had to be aware, okay, I need to button this up now. This is not good. So I can make this up in this corner, because people tend to coast through the corner, and I have no problem just pedaling through it. Gotta let it go. The guy was gone. I think this was one of the prime laps. There were a couple laps where people went so wide to the left that they went outside the cones. I managed to stay inside the cones the whole time, but there was a few people that went out. But I guess it gets dangerous as as you close into the line because the camera is over there. So it's pretty narrow. I find it interesting that the Dura Race paddles have like little holes in them. No, these are not Dura Race, these are Ultegra, sorry. This is my Ultegra bike. My LA Sprint, that I'm not bringing my Dura Race bike to this race, although I might. It depends. Right now I have 2 working bikes. They're both in great condition, so I alternate between the 2. And I guess riding this bike and my other bike, the difference really between the 2 bikes, okay, so the Dura-Ace bike is the 12 speed, so that one has an extra speed, but I guess the real thing that the Dura-Ace bike has is, you know, so it's the SL7 S-Works. It's 2 pounds lighter than this bike, so it's the sort of bike I would rather have at a hillier race like Central Park or Prospect Park. Whereas on this course, it doesn't really matter. It's a flat course. My 2 pounds is not going to make a difference with my watts. Arguably 2 pounds, yeah, I mean, off your bike, it's free weight loss. So, sure, you know, everyone can lose an extra pound, but I don't know, you have the bike available, it's there. Once you have it, you pay for it, you have it. You know, I custom built it, you know, although it's Dura-Ace and all that stuff. I shop for bargains online. I bought each part individually and everything was on sale except for the wheels and the frame set. Everything else I bought at a discount. So I didn't end up paying the full price of the group set. And I've been doing that for a while, just buying frame sets, and like it makes more sense for me to pay the bike shop the $300 to put it together than it is to, you know, pay a bike shop $3,000 or $4,000 extra and end up with a bike with wheels that I don't want anyway, a saddle that I don't want, probably even a stem I don't want. Yeah, I use with Specialized. I use the 140 stem, and because I'm tall and I have a 61 bike, and they don't make a bigger size than that, but I'm tall. I'm 6'6", so 85 kilograms. That's why I look skinny like one of these other guys. So I also run very slammed, and my saddle is very high, and I'm still in a sort of upright position like that because I just have such long arms, such long legs. For a while, I ran the saddle all the way back, but I guess I did the I was using my VeloFit, which is like if there's like a competing online fit service, you know, I love to try them out because so far my VeloFit is the only one I've found, and it is, as I said, it's like you record yourself for 20 seconds on a webcam, and it puts the it does like a retool on you in that time, and it says to make adjustments, and then you can take another video after you make your adjustments. So it'll say, oh, lower your saddle a few millimeters, change this. Some things I can't change because I've already cut the stem. So if it says raise your handlebars, yeah, it's not happening. That's just, sorry. And it sometimes tells me to do that, and it's just like, yeah, that recommendation doesn't matter. But at this point, I'm so flexible that I could just rest my chest on the handlebars and not do it. But when I first slammed my handlebars years and years ago, I've had slammed bars for like 5 years now. But the first year was so tough, so tough. My back was absolutely killing me. But I just like let it hurt. I just let it hurt because, you know, I knew the pain was from stretching. This is forcing me to stretch. So I used the bike to force me to stretch into a position. Now I'm so much more flexible because I just like, yeah, stretching is kind of painful, to be honest. So you can like choose to, you know, let yourself stretch or not. So I was like, yeah, no. So now I ride everything slammed, and it's perfect. But you know, you obviously don't need to. Like, this guy has it at the top. This looks like the LA Sprint as well. The old one with the rim brakes. Yeah, I felt like if I slotted in behind these guys, I would have been off the back. So I was like, okay, I just need to button that up. But then this guy pulled off into no man's land, and I was like, I'm not following that wheel. My goal is to go this way. I was like, I want to get in the center and be super sheltered from all angles. Because this is going to feel good, and this one's going to feel bad. Also, the inside not so great. So you don't see anybody riding the gutter to get, you know, those positions. See, I'm just pedaling through that every single time. My legs got a little dirty. I put sunscreen on, and that tends to make my skin oily, and anything on the road, any kind of dust on the road, that just ends up on my legs as well because it's sticky. I don't really need to put sunscreen on my face. It's just I have to put it on this little sliver of skin there on my neck and on my legs. About halfway through this race. Now, not super interesting. This was all survival for me. This is like, yeah, For me, my goal is to not end up like one of these guys shooting off the back like that. You know, full throttle the whole time. Do what I have to do to stay on. Try to always find, you know, this center protection. It's not the best if people are sketchy, but I didn't get the feeling that anyone was super sketchy in this. It's like in the 3-4 fields, it feels like people will they will like bike like this, side to side the whole time. And here it's like people are staying a lot straighter. Yeah, this is like, I guess you don't see my metrics on the screen, but does it matter? Like, do you really need to see what my heart rate was on? It averaged 153. My max heart rate's like 186. Anytime you heard that beep is me like searching for a stronger gear. I have a tendency to spin in the 5311 a lot. It's like I'm just looking to I'm searching for that stronger gear. Here it goes. I gotta button this up again. This was a little bit more threatening. Yeah, it's nice. I got this nice protection. People here, people on my side. No one's pushing me. No, there is one guy pushing me, so that's good. And being all the way, you lose a little, so there is still a benefit for people being behind you. Even if you're in the path, the pack, so you get a benefit from people pushing you behind. So these people like in the middle are getting a lot of great benefits. Yeah, it was always fairly obvious when it was time to push and when it wasn't. Because I noticed that sliding back thing, but I never felt like I was in a situation where I didn't have the legs to do it. Yeah, my training has been good to me, and I definitely had what I needed to get there. Okay, so I'm glad I took a look at this footage because I thought I was more in the pack, but it's fairly obvious that I was still very much at the back of the pack most of the time. Yeah, this is the guy that actually podiumed, this one right here. So, I guess there are plenty of people that do the same thing. Was it this guy or this guy? I'm not sure. It was a guy in a red shirt. Might have been this one. This one looks like a pink shirt. It's this guy. Sorry. This is the guy that podiumed. But yeah, I'm aware. Like, this is like, don't want to be here, don't want to be there, definitely don't want to be here. Hear my thing beeping because it's like, yeah, gotta push that out. Button this up now. That Dave Jordan guy end up off the back? He's behind me. He's right there. Yeah, the Dave Jordan guy, that skinny guy, he actually gave me kudos after the race, like in-person kudos, pumped fists with me. I was like, told me I did strong work. I mean, this race was hard in the sense that there was not well, there was plenty of times to take breaks. So every time I got to stop pedaling, my heart rate went down. Yeah, there was this thing there was this split here. And I was wondering how I can get back to these people up here without... okay, so this is the last video here. Yeah, I was wondering how I could get back to them doing as little work as possible. So I was like slowly inching, sort of like half wheeling. And eventually they buttoned it up. So I didn't have to do that much work to do it, but if I had to, I would have just bridged the gap because I wasn't going to let a separation go. I wasn't going to be, I'm not going to write, I had a pack finish if the pack I finished behind was a chase group, you know, or like not the main peloton. I'm sure there's a breakaway. I have no idea anything about any breakaway. This is just not something I'm thinking about. I know I have enough fitness to stay on this race, and that's what I did. And of course my Garmin's telling me you're out of gears. You don't have more than a 5311. My other bike has a 5411. So maybe I'm confusing my legs sometimes because I don't have that many teeth on my Ultegra bike. I wish I could find it. I wish I could find a 52 tooth or 54, 55, something like that. I don't mind. The secondary chainring for the 54 is a 40. So if I had like a 55, 42, oh, that would probably make the bike useless for 9W days. I think this was when, okay, yeah, this was when I had to, I couldn't really see well because the sun was so low. It doesn't look that way on the camera, but this is, you know, obviously the camera's like right under my handlebars, right underneath my Garmin. So I'm up there at my perspective. The sun was right in my face on that corner. And this is the lap that people are sort of weaving in and out of those cones. And that was kind of sketchy, but I stayed inside. You can sort of maybe see, yeah, you can see I stopped the footage here. So not a whole lot left in this race. So after that, it's the commute home, which I'm gonna be like skipping through because I'm just curious how it went and how long it recorded for. I know it didn't record all the way to home. It's cool that this guy stayed on. I thought we lost him. But yeah, I'm very much at the back of this race the whole time. And for that field sprint, my watts, it was such a crap sprint. It was like, okay, yeah, 600 watts, 500 watts, 500 watts, 500 watts. Okay, race finished. Another instance where I just gotta button it up. But at the same token, I'm like, instead of like trying to get into this inside line, I want to be towards the center. Like one of the issues with that inside line is you could get pushed out on the corner. And that's a tendency with this race, is that you have people that like to take the, they want to move up with position, so they're like taking those outside lanes. But then there's people like me, they're like, oh yeah, thank you, and I'll just move up in the center. And that's a great spot for me because I have no interest in getting an awesome position. I'm not sure if this might include some parking lot time. I think this was the final lap. So these guys, this is the final lap, and I'm like, I don't care. I gotta button it up. 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 That's all I care. Oh yeah, there's people, they're like, it's the last lap, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, why are you letting these people go? Why are you letting them go? I gotta chase now. I can't be one of these guys that just does it, just lets it go. I gotta push. I gotta push. I don't know what category these guys are, so it's possible that I could have pulled something off here. Damn, I took it away from that guy. Started this up again. Like they were kind of racing me or something. Got ahead of them, I guess. I just do the Idaho thing. Like for me, I had a tail light, but no headlamp. So like the sun's going down, I just gotta get home. And this is not a short for me. I'm still in Brooklyn and I live in Manhattan. even know how I dropped those guys. I'm like tired after the race. But I had my sugar water. That I neglected to drink the whole time. So suddenly there was a lot more in my legs. Oh, this was scary. So I was waiting for this dude. He goes to the right instead of the left. I was like, yeah, I figured I yield to him because, you know, he's taking his motorcycle on the bike path. You know, he has a 2-lane each way motorway here, but this is where he takes his motorbike. And he can't even stay on the right side of the road. He's not going around anymore. So yeah, I was like, fuck. that's what I just said. I was like pretty sure that's gonna be a crash. All right, how far do we get here? This is the rest of the battery. Still in Brooklyn. I get off Flatbush because Flatbush is sketchy. How far do we? Oh, that's the whole battery. Nice. Cool. All right. Hope you enjoyed my commentary. Have a great night.